Being a huge hockey fan, the NCAA tournament in Frozen Four is one of my favorite times of the year, and with the teams that are in it this year, it should make for some excellent hockey and hopefully some high drama. Today I will be previewing and giving you my predictions for the 2023 Frozen Four tournament in Tampa, Florida, which starts on Thursday and features the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers, the Boston University Terriers, the Michigan Wolverines, and the Quinnipiac Bobcats. The top seed in the tournament this year was Minnesota, and for good reason. The Gophers have almost no weaknesses on their roster, and a perfect blend of superstar talent, leadership, and great defense and goaltending. They have two of the three Hobey Baker finalists in Logan Cooley and Matthew Knies. Cooley, the freshman third overall pick from the 2022 draft, who is second in the NCAA in points, and Knies, the power forward and Leafs prospect, who is the complete package on offense. Jimmy Snuggerud is also a big-time player for the team and has 50 points in 38 games and was also drafted in the first round by St. Louis in 2022. Jackson Lacombe and Brock Faber are also pillars for the Gophers on defense. And in net, Justin Close has been fantastic since taking over for Jack LaFontaine mid-season last year. The team that the Gophers will be taking on in the semifinal game Thursday is the Boston University Terriers, who have been led this season by freshman sensation and Montreal Canadiens prospect Lane Hutson. Hutson is putting up historically good numbers for a defenseman this year and has 48 points in 38 games, which is 7th in the nation and first among defensemen, which is almost unheard of for a freshman. Veterans Matthew Brown and Wilmer Skoog have been big contributors on offense for BU this year as well, and this is an all-around deep team with a good mix of young talent and seasoned college players. Goaltender Drew Commesso was also a talented netminder, and although his numbers aren't quite as good as some of the other goalies in the Frozen Four, the second rounder taken by Chicago in 2020 certainly has the ability to steal a game or two. The other semifinal game will be Michigan versus Quinnipiac. You could certainly make an argument that this Michigan Wolverines team has more talent than any other team in college hockey. Adam Fantilli, the 2023 draft prospect expected to go in the top 3, is leading the NCAA in scoring with 64 points in 35 games as an 18-year-old. Luke Hughes, another top prospect drafted 4th overall by the Devils in 2021, has the second most points among defensemen in the NCAA with his 47 in 38 games. Mackie Samoskevich and Rutger McGroarty are two more first-round picks who are also point-per-game players this season. Gavin Brindley and Seamus Casey are two other players who could be future NHLers as well, currently playing for Michigan. The one slight weakness for the Wolverines, I would say, is in net. Eric Portillo has been solid in his college career, but he is having his worst season statistically this year as a junior. The Quinnipiac Bobcats are the one team left in the tournament that does not have a plethora of NHL prospects on their roster. They do, however, have a stout defense and a goaltender who has put up ridiculous numbers each of the last 2 seasons in Yaniv Perets. Perets has the second highest save percentage this season behind only Devin Levi, has a 32-4-3 record, 1.46 goals against average, and 10 shutouts on the year. The Bobcats also have the third leading scorer in the NCAA in Colin Graff, who has 56 points in 39 games. The rest of the roster is mainly filled with veteran college players who are clearly hungry to win and looking to bring Quinnipiac their first ever national championship. Of course, they lost in the final game in both 2013 and 2016. And now for my predictions for who will win both semifinal games and then the national championship game that takes place on Saturday. Two of the most historic college hockey schools of all time in Minnesota and BU face off in the first game Thursday. These schools were both extremely successful in the 70s and 80s, and it'll be awesome to see them go at it again on a big stage. While the Terriers have some dynamic players and a solid netminder, I think this Gophers team will be too much to handle, and Minnesota will head to the national championship game. On the other side, we have one of the most offensive teams in the country in Michigan, taking on the team that gives up the least goals of any in Quinnipiac. This should be another fascinating matchup that could be decided by a goal, but I think the Wolverines' firepower could be too much to handle for the Bobcats, so I'm going to have to take Michigan to go to the final. This sets up a national championship rematch with Big Ten rivals Minnesota and Michigan, the two most loaded teams in college hockey right now. These teams played 4 times in the regular season, with the Gophers winning 3 of the 4 matchups. But they also faced off in the Big Ten Championship, with Michigan taking home a 4-3 win for the title. I think Minnesota is going to want revenge for that loss, and I think the Gophers will win their first national championship since 2003, 20 years later. Let me know your predictions for the Frozen Four down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.